Three, two, one. Right. Good evening, everybody. I want to start by asking you guys a simple question. How many of you have stayed up late studying because you thought getting more work done was more important than getting sleep? I know I have. As college students, we often convince ourselves that sleeping less means we're working harder, but in reality, that lack of sleep may actually be hurting our ability to succeed. Today, I'd like to persuade you to stop thinking of sleep as wasted time and instead think of it as one of the most important tools for academic success. By the end of my presentation, I hope you'll see why getting enough sleep should become just as important as attending class or studying. So, how did you guys feel this morning? I want everyone to think about how you felt when you woke up. Were you energized and ready for the day, or were you tired, reaching for coffee or an energy drink? And did you wish you could just go back to bed? Now imagine your phone battery was at only 5%. Most of us wouldn't expect it to last all day without charging it first. Yet, every day, we expect our brains to perform at their best while running on just a few hours of sleep. According to Harvard Medical School's Division of Sleep Medicine, sleep is essential for learning, memory, and concentration. During sleep, our brains organize information we've learned throughout the day and prepare us to function the next day. Without enough sleep, we're not giving our brains the opportunity to do their job. That brings us to the problem many college students face. So essentially, what is the problem? College students are some of the busiest people around. Many of us balance classes, homework, jobs, extracurricular activities, family responsibilities, and social lives. When life gets busy, what's usually the first thing we sacrifice? Sleep. Technology also plays a huge role. We tell ourselves we'll check one notification before bed, but suddenly it's an hour later because we've been scrolling through social media or watching videos. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, adults should regularly get at least 7 hours of sleep each night. Unfortunately, many college students fall well below that recommendation. The problem isn't simply staying up late once in a while. The real problem is when poor sleep becomes our natural routine. So most students stay awake longer because they want better grades. Ironically, sleep deprivation often makes learning harder. When we're tired, our attention span decreases, our memory isn't as strong, we process information more slowly, and it's harder to concentrate during lectures or while studying. A study by Robert Beers and John Graham published in the Journal of Financial Education found that sleep deprivation was linked to poorer academic performance among college students. Think about it this way. You can spend an extra 3 hours staring at your textbook while exhausted, but if your brain is too tired to remember what you're reading, those extra hours aren't nearly as productive. Sleep isn't taking away study time. Sleep actually helps your studying become more effective. The effects of sleep deprivation don't stop when class ends. Lack of sleep can make us more irritable, increase our stress levels, lower our motivation, and even affect our physical health. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, getting enough sleep improves attention, memory, mood, and overall health while reducing the risk of accidents and injuries. Imagine driving to campus after only 3 hours of sleep. Imagine taking an important exam while struggling just to stay awake. Sleep deprivation doesn't just affect our grades, it affects our safety, our relationships, and our overall quality of life. So, the solution. The good news is that improving sleep doesn't require completely changing your life overnight. The first step is creating a consistent sleep schedule. Try waking up around the same time every day, even on weekends. Next, aim for at least 7 hours of sleep each night. You can also create a bedtime routine. Spend about 30 minutes before bed putting away electronics, organizing your book bag, reading something relaxing, or simply giving yourself enough time to unwind. The Mayo Clinic also recommends limiting caffeine in the day later in the day because it can stay in your system for several hours and make falling asleep much more difficult. Small changes like these can have a huge impact over time. Study smarter, not later. Instead of relying on all-nighters, try changing the way you study. Rather than cramming for 5 hours the night before an exam, spread your studying across several days. Even studying for 45 minutes over multiple days can be far more effective because your brain has more time to process and store what you've learned while you sleep. Another helpful strategy is creating a stopping time. Decide ahead of what time you'll stop studying and start preparing for bed. Research by Michael Wise also reminds us that while short naps can sometimes help students recharge, naps should never replace getting enough sleep at night. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's simply building healthier habits that allow your brain to perform at its best. Now I'd like you to picture two different futures. In the first future, nothing changes. You continue sleeping 4 or 5 hours every night. You wake up exhausted, rely on caffeine, struggle to focus in class, and feel stressed almost every day. Now picture another future. You consistently get enough sleep. You wake up feeling more alert, pay better attention in class, remember information more easily, and complete assignments with greater focus. Which version sounds more successful? The difference isn't intelligence. The difference is giving your brain the opportunity to recover every night. So here's my challenge for everyone. Starting tonight, set a bedtime reminder on your phone. Choose a wake up time, count backward at least 7 hours, and make that your target bedtime. Then, for the next 7 days, keep track of when you go to bed, when you wake up, and how energized you feel each morning. I actually want everyone to take out your phones right now and set a bedtime reminder for tonight. This challenge doesn't cost anything. It doesn't require special equipment. It only requires making sleep a priority. Sleep is part of success. Today, we've talked about why sleep deprivation is one of the biggest challenges facing college students. We've seen how it affects our learning, memory, mood, health, and even our safety. More importantly, we've discussed realistic ways to improve our sleep through better routines, smarter study habits, and consistent schedules. I'd like to leave you with one final thought. We should never expect our phones to last all day with only 5% battery. So why should we expect our brains to perform at their best with only 4 to 5 hours of sleep? Stop treating sleep as something you earn after finishing everything else. Instead, treat sleep as one of the most important investments you can make in your success. Thank you. And here's my references. Boom.